So I wanted to start off by talking about the Starkey hearing campaign, because we're in the Congo. We've had the opportunity to see some of your hospital so far, and all the Starkey folks are out here. And I believe you met the founder, Bill Austin, at the Clinton Global Initiative. How did you guys meet though in the first place?
I think 5 years ago in 2009, President Clinton was speaking on stage during the Clinton Global Initiative about this wonderful man doing all this wonderful work around the world and saving lives and giving people hope and future with the hearing aid. I was like, who's this man? As I was sitting there in a conference and showed some of the film and all of that, in the end I said, I want to see this guy.
What was your pitch initially?
My pitch was, let's go do the mission in Congo. But back then, it was hard to sell the mission to him.
Why was it hard?
I think there was so many different, there was a different picture that was being portrayed about Congo by that time because of the civil unrest that was happening in the east of Congo, no here, no in the west. But it made the country feel like you cannot travel to Congo. So he kept telling me, yeah, we will go. Until one day I was able.
So you guys first met around 5 years or so ago. I mean, what was involved with making it happen over the course of the 5 years?
We talked a lot. I went to Minnesota, met with them, talked to them, told them, because they want to know if they're going to go, where they're going to go do it, who's going to be in charge. There's any medical facility or place for them, a recreation center for to do this, and to host all of those people or patients that are coming. And when they saw the picture of the hospital, and they was able to convince all of the volunteers and their staff about going to Congo, and they work out very good.
So they're fitting, back in, I guess, December, I guess they came here fitting people for, or doing the molds of the ears to be able to then, out here today fit people for the hearing aids.
Yes.
What's it like for you to, help put a hearing aid on a kid or a 14 or 18-year-old who's never heard prior to that?
It's a brand new to me. It's a miracle. It's a wonderful experience. I never been in nothing like this. I grew up in a neighborhood where I knew some friends were deaf, they couldn't speak. Some of them did have a difficulty of listening or couldn't. But coming now in the Congo 20-some plus years later, and giving the hearing aid to the same people you grew up with, and now the kids' mother, father, and grandparents, and then seeing people looking and hear for the first time. It's hard for me to describe it, I think it goes to the definition why this hospital was built, about saving lives, changing lives, improving the community, and also providing people great access to education. This is really a great education for the population. Now mom and dad, you have a duty to take their child home. The child can hear them, but now they have to teach the child how to repeat what they're hearing. And it was amazing how I look myself as a professor, a teacher today, trying to teach the other mother how to teach her son how to speak. It's a good experience.
How tired are you of seeing people die of preventable diseases and lack of access to quality health care?
I think I'm not tired as I used to no more. It's not that much no more. I was tired a lot before
Why not as much anymore?
because I'm part of the solution. I'm not part of the problem. The problem was there, and I took a step to find a way out to solve it.
What,
And I'm not alone.
and you aren't alone?
I'm not.
Your mother's death had played a role in that. She apparently had a stroke, but was unable to make it
You
to the
reached the
hospital.
hospital.
Explain why.
There's no ambulance system until 99, 2000, when I started installing ambulances in the capital city. There was never the ambulance system. So that can tell you just the work that our foundation have been doing. Our hospital got more than 5 ambulances, which serve the community and people outside the community. But there was no ambulance system in the capital city of more than 12 million people.
And not only that, what would have happened if somebody had tried to take her to the hospital at that time?
My dad tried, but by that time it was a curfew. It was just a bad time. It was a curfew that time he passed away. And my dad couldn't leave the house. He was asked to go back inside.
How much do you think her passing was result of not having the access to proper medical care?
It's still hard to my family. It's still very hard because we believe that she could have been saved. She was just say, I'm hurt, I'm not feeling well. So I think if they could have taken her to Galema, which is 2 blocks away from the hotel where we're staying, which is another good hospital for rich people. It could have been 5 minutes away from my parents' home, and it could have been safe.
And that would have made all the difference in the world. How much incentive does that provide you with what you're doing with your hospital to avoid other people having to go through a similar situation?
Save many mothers, trying to save as many mothers as I can. And I will try my best to the day I'm no longer here. I don't want no other kids lose their mother from those same circumstances. That's why we have best trained doctors, better intensive care union, trying to put as many medical equipments, high technology in this hospital, bring all the best doctors from the United States and Europe to Congo to work with our team and to make them learn, to tell me what we need and what we don't need.
In taking it from concept to reality, what was the biggest challenge?
Raising money,
Really?
it was a pain in the butt. That's the reason why I ended up cutting a $23 million checks
23 million.
to build the hospital.
And what was the total cost?
Total cost was like about 30-some plus million. Then launching the operation for the first 3-4 years, the cost was maybe another $10 million.
Wow.
So we raised about $40-some million plus.
Was it harder than you expected to raise the money?
I think it was hard because I think I made a mistake in the end. I was a professional basketball player making $1 million a year. And I felt at the beginning that maybe if I gave myself a couple millions and I announced to the world I'm building a hospital, the rest of the NBA players were just going to be walking at the door,
Right.
handling me checks. And I was wrong.
And also you did something that I thought was really interesting when you were playing for the Houston Rockets.
Yes.
You figured out who the season ticket holders were that were sitting courtside. Explain what you would do.
It was something I learned from this businessman in Houston who told me that, Dikembe, you're in a wonderful city, you can raise money much faster than any city you haven't played before. He said most of those guys who sit in front of me and next to me, they're all millionaire and billionaire. And you need to try to find their names and their office location and send them the package and I'll call them, trying to have lunch or dinner with them. And I did that. And they're working. And they're raising a lot of money. And I was lucky also to play for a great honor, Mr. Lex Alexander, who helped me raise $1 million as well. So.
Well, and you took it a step further too. I mean, wouldn't you like Google some of these people and figure out like who the name of their wife and kids, and then
that's a great way to raise money.
You'd go up to them and say, "Hey, how's so and so?" Right?
You don't come ask somebody the money without know their history, how they made the money, what they're doing in their life, who they have gave money before, where their passion, where their heart, the name of their wife and their kids. It's a great thing. You Google, you try to read the many articles being reading for that person. That way, when you approach a person, at least you can have a common conversation about things that are very important between both of you guys. And instead of just walking on somebody that you really don't know, and you have no interest about knowing that person, just say, hey, give me $500,000. So that's all you want to talk to that person. To me, I think money is not just all important, but also knowing each other and understanding each other in society is much better more than money. I have friends who have gave me money without me knowing who they are, but most of the people are trying to know their wife and their kids and trying to get them to understand me, to understand where I come from, to know my wife and my kids as well.
Yeah, your hospital, here in particular, took much longer to build than expected. I think that was largely or partly due to the government. I wonder how tempting was it for you to give money under the table, to expedite things?
I think it was a challenge. People was coming, people who work in the Congolese society is not easy back then because the land was given to us by the government, and some of people felt that we were entitled to pay some fee for the land, and they trying to challenge us. Some of the officials trying to challenge us, and the issue was solved easily. When I come to the president again and I told him what was going on, and he was not happy with it, and so many of those people was fired.
Well, so at one point after the hospital was built and up and running, you find the hospital's paying a lot for water,
Yes.
and in fact you're being charged, probably overcharged for water. So you go out, I believe, build a well so you don't have to, pay the government for the water anymore. And then what does the government come to you and say?
That's a great story. I think it was a couple of people, what you call them, the commute. Some of people from, they're in charge of land and territory here in the community. So they walk in, they see this water tank, and 3 years ago after it being built, it was like, what is that? It's a water tank, and they said, where the water come from? And they said the water come from the well. They say, oh, you guys are taking the natural resources of Congo. And they have to explain to those gentlemen that people who are receiving the treatment here at the hospital for free are Congolese, not foreigner. And the person who built the hospital came from Congo and gave all of his money here. So it was, my society is a very funny society. If you are not awake, you can get beaten. You have to be awake and be alert. It's a part of life here in the Congo. People have to change the mentality. I don't know, maybe it will be part of my generation, or maybe the generation to come. But you already see a little bit of sign of improvement, but not all. But the challenge is still there. But it will take a generation, one or two, for the complete changing.
And I believe at your hospital, I mean, pay very well relative to, other hospitals. I think you pay doctors something like 4 times more than the government-run hospitals. Is it true, though, that there are people, like within the government, because of that, that are embarrassed?
No, I think what we are preventing stealing of medical equipment and good. People are you have to be careful when you don't pay your employees very well. And I'm not nobody's against a union. I have a union now of employees that challenge me every time. But
You have a union?
The union of doctors and nurses, they have their own office there and a hallway. So they want to be treated well. But I think we have done something to create a nice world-class institution, make the doctors and nurses and employees very happy so they can love their love, and if there's an emergency, we sit in a highway. We are 5 minutes away from the airport. We've seen so many plane crashes. All of those victims are being brought here. And when those victims are brought here, everybody works 24/7. And if you don't pay your employees the best as they can, nobody will show up when you call them. So it's a huge competition. That's why we still have more than 5,000 resumes
Wow.
of people who want to work here. So that tells you why. There's a fight in our gate every day of how many people want to work here because we pay good, we have the best equipment, and people work more than 12 hours. You give your best here to deliver the best service.
The late Nelson Mandela, what was it like having dinner with him? What do you recall?
Madiba, as I call him, old man, a great father, a great mentor. To me, it was someone, he was the angel of the world, someone who was able to spend more than 27 years of his life in prison. It was not easy. You know, Mandela, I don't know if the world will have another Mandela. You know, many people like that, they don't make them. You know, God sent one like that every 100 years to just test his people about his faith and their belief. And he inspired the world. He inspired me, inspired million people around the world. He came me to understand that the sport, you have an ability to change the world. And to the game of sport, we can do everything. And I realized that it's because I played the game of basketball, I was able to build this hospital and make this world that we are living on here today a better place for a generation to come.
What are your long-term goals with the hospital?
My long-term goal, not just me, I think that got to do the institution, the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation, and the board. You have only one ambition left is to get our endowment accomplished. So we have a $10 million projection that we are trying to reach. And our goal is maybe in the next 4 years to be able to accomplish it. And then also go do something else beside our hospital.
What can you tell about what the main hospital in the Congo was like prior to the one that you built?
Best question, you just have to go see it. They're still existing.
Well, yeah, how would you describe it?
Catastrophic.
Catastrophic.
Yes, until today.
Why?
Lack of medical care, medical equipment, bad technology, not enough human capacity.
And it's my understanding patients would commonly have to bring their own food, would have to occasionally bring their own bed, they'd have to go out get their own medicine.
Yes, that is still happening.
And sometimes, like...
We might be the only hospital still providing medicine.
Huh. And why do you think that is?
Thinking a lot because there's a lack of trust between the institution and the population.
What do you mean?
The government didn't want to becoming like a giving, and the private institution didn't want to becoming also the giving, and so it becoming like a common practice for everyone. But here we're trying to change that. We're trying to change the philosophy. We worry more about saving lives than worry about when are you going to pay your bill. We have so many cases in the emergency room every night. As you drove in the city, you see how people are crossing the highway. I cannot tell you when it comes to nighttime how many bodies are brought here in the Mutombo Hospital, or people get run by the cars every day.
Really? What do you recall from seeing a Congo maternity ward for the first time?
It was sad, that there was maybe 5 to 6 baby was kept inside the incubator, sometimes 7.
In an incubator meant for one?
It made for one. Women who just have normal baby, not premature, sometimes they have 4 women in each bed, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and someone sleeps just on the concrete with their babies, and 2 of them on the top with their babies in the same bed.
Talk about when you once went to the maternity ward and saw 10 mothers who were almost being held against their will.
Yes, at the university hospital, it's still being practiced until today. That when you deliver a baby and you cannot pay the bill, they will not let you go. You can be outside walking around, but the baby will never leave the room. If it have to be 3, 4, 5 months, the baby will always be there.
Until they pay their medical bills?
They pay the medical bills. And in 2004, I went to the university hospital for a visit, and there was more than 20 women inside the room with their babies. They've been there for a couple of weeks, more than a couple of months. And one of them, the bill was like almost $800 $835. And the lady came to me and said, I don't have the $835 to pay the university, but if you can help me, I have this wonderful child, I just want to go home. My husband is not working, I have not worked in 2 years. I was like, why not? It's a precious child. Why not do something? And I decided to pay the bill for all the 20 ladies that was there. And so the hospital can let them go. And when they did, and today as you and I are talking, I see the same child I saved 10 years ago coming to my hospital, back again in my life, asking me to serve her again because of the hearing loss. That tell you how life can be. And we all are made here to help each other to make the world a better place for a generation to come. And if we don't do it, this world will be destroyed. So I'm glad that I'm doing my part.
Well, and it has to be neat to be in a position to be able to do this and to give the $800 some, context, because that might not seem like a lot of money to people back in the States, but when you consider the average annual salary here is under $200 a year,
it was $37, $35 before.
Yeah.
So which was taking like to $420. Now the salary is like, now it was $65 now. I think the government moved the lowest you can pay the person now is like $100
Okay.
a month.
Right.
And can you imagine you having 3 kids at home
Right.
with a wife, and you have one just delivered a baby, and the other one costs $800, and you get paid $100. How you gonna get to, when are you gonna come with $800?
Right, and to give another example of kind of the state of the system here, you visited another maternity ward once where the woman had just had triplets,
Yes.
and the hospital didn't have the equipment to adequately care for the triplets. Not to mention the parents were unable to
Until
afford
today.
the medical care, so they were just going to leave the babies to die essentially until
They
you
came
stepped
over
in.
here. They came and they asked for help. And today we are talking, the kids are doing very well, going to school. The father work at the hospital, the mom sells something in the market. All the kids are named after me. And I don't know why, what did I do? But it means a lot to me, it means a lot.
How do you change the perception here that going to the hospital doesn't mean you're going to die, but it can actually mean you're going to get better?
It took a while. It took a while in the Congolese society for the people to understand that you can go to the hospital for medical care, you're not going there just there to die. That was the philosophy that was developed in the Congolese society for a long time. And it's changing now. A lot of them are changing because this hospital, since it was built, and I've been a big advocate about some of the problems that facing in the Congolese society.
The reality of being in a place like the Congo and having salaries that we were talking about is also a function of that is fewer resources. How many people around here would you say have regular access to electricity and running water?
People walk about 5 kilometers to go get water every day, and 5 kilometers back. So don't drop your tears, just try to hold it up. It's life in Africa, not many places in the Congo or in the continent in general, people still have access to water.
What about shoes?
Shoes, they're okay. They might have the same pair of shoes they wear for the past 10 years or 15 years. Or I can tell you a story about shoes for myself.
Really?
I didn't have no shoes growing up.
Well, that's because people don't make shoes in size
Yes.
20s.
No, after my feet grew past 12, I couldn't find the shoes in Capital City.
What would you do?
Buy tennis shoes and cut the front, and so my toes can stretch.
Really?
Yes, or just wear my brother's shoes that was wearing like 13 and stick my feet in it and walk as bad as I can.
When did you finally get shoes that fit you?
Maybe 3-4 years.
Really?
I didn't get really good shoes that not hurting much until I got to 11th grade. Then I ended up traveling to Europe when I was, before I went to 12th grade that summer. That's where I got there. Somehow if you don't have a loved one overseas or someone you know, you're done.
Explain why the bellies of so many kids that you see are, really pushed
Malnutrition.
out. Yeah.
Here, where I come from, people eat once a day. Once a day. Either you eat at nighttime or you don't eat at all. Some people, if they have 6 kids, 3 eat today and 3 eat tomorrow, and the other 3 you have to just search themselves for. It's very difficult.
How dire is the poverty, in your opinion, here?
Um, we have seen a lot of improvement in child mortality, that there's been a lot of effort made by the international community. UNICEF has done a great job, the World Health Organization. The mortality rate now is almost 1 of 10 children born every day in the capital city don't make age of 5. But when you leave the capital city, it gets worse because the hospital are like 5 or 10 hours away. And some of them may get a day to get to the hospital. And you go to just to a suburb of the capital city, the numbers start going up. And only thing we have to fight on right now is the mortality rate on premature baby. I think there's like 1 of the 7 don't make the 28 days. So when you multiply that, you're looking at a 3-month or 6-month, the number's a little bit high.
How severe is the HIV/AIDS problem?
HIV/AIDS is lucky. Congo was served. Congo was blessed. My father was having a conversation with somebody the other day. The pandemic is not that bad. In the capital city, it's like 6%. But compared to countries like Botswana and South Africa or some of the eastern countries, you look at Kenya and all Uganda, where HIV/AIDS was in the 30% of population. One of the reasons about Congo HIV/AIDS didn't spread because Congo is a country full of forests and people live in a pocket. And the movement of people is not happening so fast because people really don't have that money to move. So we've been lucky, and that's why you see so many high cases of HIV/AIDS in the capital city. But that don't mean we cannot keep educating people about the social transmitted diseases like HIV/AIDS, which have destroyed the fabric of our society.
Education. When you were growing up, how much did your parents emphasize in education?
My dad was a teacher for 38 years. So education was a key in my family. My dad always wanted us to go much higher, to be better than him. Because
In what ways?
because he knew that when you work for the government, I think until now, your kids get a free education. So especially work in the Department for Education, your kids get access to go to school for free. So my dad was making sure that we took advantage of that to go to school for free where we don't have to pay for tuition, besides buying our own uniform and books and stuff. So it was like, you go to school or you don't want to go to school. It was one way. You do that way or there's no other way, otherwise you move out.
How much did you read growing up?
I read a lot. Some of us who grew up close to downtown, when there was no electricity at home, we would walk 2 blocks away, 3 blocks away, near to the store downtown or shopping center, and then sit on the floor and do our homework on the hallway and go home, like around midnight. So we was lucky. Sometimes you go a month, there's no electricity in your neighborhood, but you can go all the way through. Every evening, you just put your book back on the back, you walk 3 blocks away and you do your homework at the light and you come home.
Well, and it paid off too, because in the high school entrance exam test that you took, you were tops in your city. When you got to high school, after classes regularly, you would go to the American Embassy.
American Embassy.
Why would you go?
Because I always dreamed about going to America since I was in 3rd grade.
What about America made you
Because
dream
I was
about it?
tall.
Because you were tall?
Yes. And many people thinking the way I was tall and I was growing up, I was different, that I was not from Congo. I must be from America. That where's all the tall basketball players was. And I think a lot got to do with TV. Whatever people saw on TV, see all those tall people dunking, they said, so you must be from there. And people start calling me an American. Hey, you're American child. So I felt like I was one of them. I said, okay, maybe the dream would be to go to America one day. Then I started thinking about what it would take to go there.
Well, and you end up going. You go to Georgetown, where you eventually graduate. But while you're there, you intern. One summer you interned for the World Bank. Another summer you interned for Congress. How did you go about picking those?
You know, Georgetown is a wonderful institution. That give you all the tools, all the necessary for you to succeed. And going to school like in a capital city like Washington, D.C., great metropolitan, all the government institution was there. And for you to get a chance, an opportunity really to enter some of those institutions was a little bit higher because of the school where I was going. So being African and applied myself for the internship at the World Bank, it worked very well. Applied at Capitol Hill. My coach knew congressman, our late congressman, Robert Mathieu, who passed away, was no longer with us from Sacramento. So I was a chance to go work for him. And it was a great experience.
You speak 9 languages, including 5 African dialects. What do you speak?
I speak English, French, Portuguese, and a little bit of Spanish. And I'm trying to, here in the Congo, when you're growing up, if you go outside, you ask every child, they will tell you that they speak at least 3 or 5 languages. Because it's easy to speak your mother tongue, your father tongue, and maybe your neighbor's tongue. Because every time you go across the street playing with the neighbor's kids, they're talking another language, and you pick up that language too from your childhood. They just carry on to your brain. It's very easy here in the Congo.
When you learned English, I believe your first 2 years at Georgetown, during a period of which you were studying English, I believe, like 5 to 7 hours a day.
Yeah, from 9 to 3 p.m.
What did that entail?
I only tell kids mostly about my life. Sometimes I think I didn't go to school. I went to a military academy. I went to a boot camp because life was never easy for me. And the challenge that I went through to succeed come from the hard work that I paid for. It was never easy. Because from Georgetown days, they made me understand that if I have to keep my scholarship, I have to maintain a good credit and a good 12 credit a semester for me to succeed. Otherwise, I was going to find myself on a plane going back to Congo.
What language was most challenging to learn?
I think in English, you want to live in American society, you want to go to a great institution. I was not very well, speaking English very well when I arrived. Then I have to take my classes in French and Portuguese when I'm going to another 7 hours English every day. I used to go to sleep 1 and 2 o'clock every day. I have friends, but there was not many of them my freshman year. So it was hard. Georgetown was not easy. That's why I'm so proud that I can call myself a great Hoya, as a Hoya Saxon. But I'm proud for the fact that my kids are now listening to me about going to Georgetown, and my daughter is making sure that she will do her best to go to Georgetown to see what her father went through.
Why have you always required your kids to speak French in the house?
Because everybody, when we come here in the Congo, they speak French. all of their cousins speak French. My father, who is no longer with us, who passed away a year ago, spoke only French, didn't speak English, and my mom was speaking. So it's great. It's great to pass the culture and the language of where you come from to your children. And French is just such a rich language, very rich, very, like they call it in French, langue d'amour, language of love. So it's good to speak French.
How difficult is it for kids here to get access to a quality education?
It's very difficult because of the tuition. Schools are not free. There's public school, but you still have to pay. And if you don't pay, they kick you out. I deal with this problem every day.
What's made you want to build your own school?
I want to give so many kids a bright future because I was blessed and fortunate by so many people who helped me succeed. I didn't get where I am here by myself. No. I didn't becoming a great basketball player if it was not with people like Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Coach John Thompson, and other coaches like Bill Russell, who came, who didn't know me before, who said, we're going to help you because you have talent. So every step I have taken in my life, I have wonderful people who have joined me to that journey. And I'm asking myself, what else can I do to pass to the other torch? And I want to see how many more kids can they say one day when they get older, I was educated because of Mr. Mutombo. I built the school.
What exactly do you want to do with the school?
I want to honor my father. Just being a bright man or educated who believed that education was the key of success. If you want to go to school, you have to go away from the village. You have to travel maybe 7 hours by car, maybe 7 hours to go to school, and you have to find a way to live there. My dad went to school in another province. He was a missionary until he graduated, and he came back and married my mom. Then he moved to capital city. So there's no school. I don't know if there's been one been built, but I want to go build a good one.
Why do you want to honor your father?
I think because he's the man who gave me life. He was a great mentor, a great father, and I was with him until he took his last breath. I feel so touched by him. So it should be a monument in this country with his name on it.
Yeah, he passed away a year ago, and I understand coming up you're going to honor him with a tribute, I believe, on Monday. What's that going to be like for you?
To me, it might be, I think it's a celebration of his life. But in the same time, I want my children to see where the grandpa was buried, where the grandpa was laying to rest. And I don't want them to just be told grandpa's body was taken out from the United States to be brought to Africa. But I want them to see where his grandpa came from and where daddy came from. And I'm so happy as I'm speaking to you today to see how much joy my kids are having since we've been here.
What's the best lesson your father taught you?
Don't forget those who don't have nothing. Continue to help those who don't have nothing. Do your best, and God will continue to bless you. I think my dad and I went to a lot of argument more about our family structure, the culture that I came from, which is totally than American culture. In Africa, when you made it, you didn't make it by yourself. You made it for the entire family. You're becoming responsible to look after everyone. Those who are sick, those who want to be educated. Then if you have a father who sent hundred people to school and to college, So you feel challenged that you have to follow the same footstep. And my father was the first to be educated in my family. He was the first among the 13 people that the Belgians select, the colonial people select to go to Europe, to Sorbonne to study in France. So my father was educated in Europe. He went to some of higher education in Europe. So it means a lot. There's a lot of things you want to carry that torch that your dad passed on to you. Make sure you do. It's hard for me to say no to my cousins, uncles. Even I don't have nothing, if I have to give you $5, I have to. But the African family sometimes is too big.
Your father was, I think, 6'2", your mother, I think, 5'11". How tall are you?
I'm only 7'2".
Only 7'2"? How do you end up so tall?
I think a lot got do. I don't know, the height mix of my parents, or maybe I just have a good gene. But we all tall in my family, but some people are short, 6'9", 6'8", or 6'5".
You mentioned people calling you an American and that kind of providing the incentive to want to go to America. Due to your height, I understand you eventually wanted to avoid going to the market when you were growing up. Why?
Not the big market, the central market is still down, close to downtown. Because people used to think I was a ghost. Or,
a ghost?
Yeah, people used to think I was like what they used to call me. They used to call me Kinshasa. Kinshasa, it used to be like a myth, a story. That people say that, do you see like in America, people tell the story about the Bigfoot?
Yeah.
That somebody was working in the bushes somewhere. And here, but when I was growing up, people used to tell that, yes, somebody heard that they saw Kinshasa last time, that there was this tall guy used to appear in the middle of nowhere, tall, like 8 foot tall, 9 foot tall, and always dressed in white. And somehow he used to attack people or killing people. So one day when the market, people thought I was Kinshasa. They used to call me Kinshasa. Hey, Kinshasa, and then people just start jumping and running, leaving their goods on the table. And I was
running from you, legitimately running from you.
Yes, and it brought out tears on my mind and my eyes, and I decided I was never going to put my foot again in the Central Market. And I didn't go to the Central Market for a long time. I think maybe I didn't go until I left the country.
So while it's funny now, it wasn't so
now
funny
today, the
then.
same people who come to that say, no, he's a savior. Let's follow him. He's the one who's saving us.
How well do you recall the local newspaper that had you on the cover back then?
Oh yeah, they called me the giraffe of Kinshasa, the tallest man. I was bullied out when I was growing up.
Is there anything that really sticks out from that time?
Because people thought I was sick. There was something wrong with my body the way I was growing up. And today they are the same people who crap, beg money from me, and praise me, think I'm the son of God, I'm the second coming, something like that, whatever they call it. Some people now call me Moses.
How strange is that for you that the same people who once made fun of you are now the ones asking you for favors?
Because they realize the glory of the Almighty. You know, you cannot insult a child of God because you don't know what God, you have a plan for him. And I think that God did have a plan for me. It was a better one.
You grew up across the street from the Kinshasa Stadium that was host to the Muhammad Ali-George Foreman fight, the
Yes.
Rumble in the Jungle. You were 8 years old at the time. What do you recall from attending that?
Ali Bomaye, Ali killed him. I think it was fun. You know, everybody when we was young, This was man who was the world champion, strong George Foreman. Then with this guy who just knew how to talk, but he was telling the world that he was going to knock the other big guy. And all the Congolese people say, okay, let's go, you go kill him. And they start singing for him, and it was one of the best events that ever took place in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which used to be called Zaire back then.
And your mother had a shop in the stadium at the time, so you got in for free, right?
All of us, all the 10 kids, my mom used to sell cigarettes and sodas. It was great. It's a good time.
How was it when you finally got to meet Ali later on in life?
Oh, my friend, I was able to share the story with Ali a long time ago at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia, where I served in the board. I told the family, Ali family, the story and all of that. How we continue to love him as a Congolese for coming to Congo to fight. How you doing, man?
How are you? You mentioned, though, growing up, you weren't looking to be a professional basketball player. How much did you love soccer and martial arts growing up?
A lot. As we walk around the city, you see there's always soccer. You're going by the hotel, you see a huge soccer stadium. So soccer is like the proud sport for the nation. But every kid plays soccer here. Basketball, you have to go far away to find a place or a court to play basketball. We are not like in China. In America, you walk around the neighborhood, there's a basketball court here, there's a basketball court there. I wish one day those opportunities will be given to the place like the Kinshasa, where basketball court can be found a lot of places.
Well, interestingly, you do say you had to go far to play basketball. You were the 7th of 10 children. And I think you've said before, basically all your siblings, older and younger than you, practically played for a national team.
Yes.
Why did you never play basketball until your last year of high school?
I didn't like it.
Why not?
I think when I was younger, I thought maybe the sport was boring. It was no fun. There was only 5 people in playing. When soccer, you guys can be 12 or 15 and going left and right and kicking the ball in a huge open field and you're having fun. It took a while for my brother to convince my family if it would be good for me to try basketball. And the first time it was not good.
Well, I understand the first time it really wasn't good and it was quite painful.
Explain what happened. You can see the
Oh, you do?
On my chin.
What happened?
They were trying to teach me how to jump. I think I was a little bit lazy. They were trying to teach me how to jump so I can learn how to rebound. And I just tripped.
You tripped and you fell on your chin?
Yes, I couldn't hold myself. I was coming down and just landed flat and bust my chin up and I had to get like 20-some stitches.
Was that in your mind at the time the end of your basketball career?
Oh yeah, I did stop it for a while. My mom used to be my guardian. She used to protect me all the time. And he tried to convince my dad and my brother that I should not be part of that no more. But they really didn't work.
Let's go back a little bit. How did you start getting recruited in the first place?
There's a national test you take here in the capital city, which I did very well. And I was given a scholarship by the USAID. And I went to America. I was given a 6 scholarship to figure out which one I want. I have the choice of 6 schools. Then I ended up picking Georgetown as the best. I could have gone to Kentucky, St. John, Syracuse, Indiana, Southern Indiana University.
So you're saying you picked the second best school since Syracuse, obviously?
No, I picked the best. Every one of those schools was far. And they catalog did he have a snow on the cover. And so I think that was the first thing kind of turned me off. And I think I made the right choice. I ended up wanting to go to one of the best Jesuit school in the world, the best institution, which I love so much. I think I did good.
What do you know about the list of criteria that your father came up with the cultural affairs officer at the American Embassy in Kinshasa when kind of determining what schools were best for you?
My father was making sure that I was going there to go to America, and then one day I would come home, that I was not going to be used for trade or for something, make sure I was protected. And those was the thing that my father was much concerned about. And he didn't want me to go to the city in America where I didn't have a loved one. He was worrying a lot about me.
Sure. Well, and you were really lonely, right, when you came over, right?
I was just happy to go to America to go be educated. But for my dad, it was not that what he wanted to do. He felt that, because my dad was educated in Europe, so he knew what was happening to so many students who have gone overseas by themselves, to be homesick and all of that. And he looked around in his family. He asked some of his cousins and distant cousins. He found out that one of his cousins, who was also a pastor in the same church, did he have a son who was a cardiovascular heart surgeon, was practicing in America, went to school in America since the age of 14. And that was my cousin there, his son in hallway, Dr. Lewis.
Why did you think you wanted to study medicine?
My father have gave us choice. I wish I can do that to my kids.
Oh, he didn't give you any choice.
My father used to sit us in the living room when we was younger and ask everyone, what do you want to become in life? And they would talk to us at such a young age. And when I was in third grade, I told him that I want to become a doctor. He said, okay, then you need to study science then. So I started pushing myself more in the math and physics.
And why did that change?
Basketball.
Basketball?
I think because of the practice schedule, my sophomore year, I couldn't do it no more.
And how much did Coach John Thompson have to persuade you to get you to play?
This was not just coach. There was my dean was involved. The president of the university was asking Father Healy. He was a great man. Who did have a chance to live in the Congo in the 50s, who did some of his priesthood trip here in the Congo for like 2 years, around 58, 59. So he told me a lot of story about where I came from. So he was very happy to see another Congolese person on campus.
So what ultimately made you decide to
I felt it was going to be good. It was funny because every time you went to a cafeteria, everybody was asking me, hey, what's up? How come you didn't play yesterday? Why did you lose the game? Like, I'm not part of the team, You're getting bombarded by all those questions. And I felt that maybe if I play. Then I started playing for my dorm.
You started playing for your dorm?
Yeah, and which we end up winning. We end up beating all the dorms.
I wonder why.
What I would do, they used to make me run all the way straight across to the basket. And my friend, my good friend who's not here, was also our board member for the foundation, Charlie Burke. And he used to be our point guard. He would just dribble the ball and throw the ball up in the air and I would caught it. So we used to beat the team like maybe 40-2 and all. It used to be fun.
How tall was the next, tallest person?
I think everybody on campus was like 6 foot and 6'4". And it was fun, man. I had fun my freshman year. Those was the thing kind of let me relax, continue my education at Georgetown.
Coach Thompson had Bill Russell, the NBA Hall of Famer and obviously the legend, come and talk to you. You've really credited that with convincing yourself that you could play basketball. What was discussed?
I think Coach Thompson was making sure that I follow Patrick Ewing's footsteps, want to become a successful, one of the most dominant center. And he had a vision. He knew my ability, the way I was growing up and with the game, that I have a chance to be one of the most powerful, dominant shot blockers in the NBA history. And what Bill told me was something that made me to be Dikembe Mutombo.
What did he tell you?
He said, the only way you can walk away and being one of the great basketball ever played this game, if you can just do two things in your career, block shot and rebound. Don't worry about if you score 2 points or 4 points a game. And he said, if you do that, you will make a lot of money and you will go down in the history book. He said, I did it and I won 11 championships in 10 fingers. I said, the man who won 11 championships in 10 fingers and praying for God to give him one more finger to put his ring, why not me? So, and I went there, followed those advice, and I think it turned out very good. I ended up breaking almost all of the records of the NBA.
Your sophomore year of college is the first time you end up getting put into a game. Take me through that situation and what ended up ensuing.
Alonzo Money got in a foul trouble against St. John. Then I was asked to go to the game, and a few minutes, almost like 20 minutes later, and I broke the NCAA record, which was a 12 block shot game. And then right away, the world went crazy. Everybody started wondering, who's this kid? Which high school did he go? Who was his coach in high school? Why nobody never spoke about him and all of that? Coach Thompson said that was my secret weapon.
How did your life change after that game?
After that game, I knew that I have a chance to becoming somebody. But it was not easy. It took a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work.
So you go from not having much money growing up and having to really work in college to support yourself and be able to pay for food, to becoming a multi-millionaire overnight when you sign with the Denver Nuggets. What do you recall from signing that first NBA contract?
First, I couldn't believe it. I cried. I hugged my lawyers. I thanked him. I was about to kiss him. Thought he was my wife. It was one of the most joyful days of my life. A kid from Congo who come from the father that made only $37 a month, and one day wake up 4 years later, becoming a multimillionaire. It was incredible.
What was your reaction the first time you got a paycheck from the Nuggets?
I couldn't believe it. To see that many zeros was on my checks. But I ended up getting used to it. But it was cool. It was cool. It was the price that I paid for working hard, and I thought I was earning it. It was fine.
You've obviously made tens of millions during your career. You've donated tens of millions as well. How about the best financial lesson you ever learned?
The best financial lesson I ever learned in my life, you need to do, it depends on the culture. We have to be careful when we talk about the best financial lesson here. It depends on where the individual comes from. How do you see the world, how you perceive the world. Some people see the world differently. And some people see the world the way I see it. They want to be generous. They want to be more giver and want to share their wealth. And some people want to keep it. But I'm more religious, so I see the world differently. So I think, but you still have to do a diligence for the fact that you don't want to give all your money. You want to give your money away, but you want to keep some for yourself, that you can live for a long time and live a normal life. And some people want to keep everything, live a richest life, and we are sharing nothing to no one. So that difference, that I look at it.
I want to talk about some of the notable moments from your NBA career, the first of which being the '94 All-Star game, your rookie year. You're obviously, you're an all-star. What do you recall from that game?
Just to be the first rookie ever make the All-Star team in the NBA history. That was one of the most credible things to accomplish. You know, when I came in the league, I was a rookie of the month, almost 3 months straight. Just dominate the game right away. And one player of the week almost every. It was just amazing because I have goal. I knew from day one I want to becoming somebody. I knew that I don't want to play the game just for 5 years. I want to play for a long time, and I want to break some records. I want to pursue some of the records that was broken before me. You know, if you can do that, you have a chance to be one of the greatest basketball players, and I did that.
The 2001 NBA Finals, your 76ers versus Shaquille O'Neal's Lakers. You said that's one of the best battles you've ever had. Why?
Because Shaquille O'Neal is one of the best NBA players to play this game, one of the big and the most dominant center because of his skill and his strength. And he did so much for this game. And going in the final against him, I knew that I have my hands full, that I have to bring whatever I have as the best defender player to try to stop him. I felt that our chance was there, but I think that we came out short because we beat them in game one.
I was playing against Hakeem.
Hakeem was different. You know, Hakeem was just one of the most respectable guys.
And
no matter what, you knew he was going to give you 30 or 40 that night.
And wasn't he partly why you became an NBA player?
Yes.
Your early inspiration?
Knowing that there was another African guy who was not 7 foot, but like 6'10", 6'11", was dominating the game the way Dream was doing. It was hard for me in a younger age as I was playing this game to know that why I cannot become like him, why I cannot follow his journey, because he came from Africa too. Those are the things. He went to college too. Those are the questions that was going on inside of me. You know that this will be a great role model for me to follow.
When you were with the Houston Rockets, how was mentoring Yao Ming?
I think I did okay. You know, yeah, he's a great man, a great friend, a great comrade. I love the guy so much, you know. He was my youngest brother, even though he's too much taller than me. But I have so much fun playing basketball with him, going to the movie, talking about life, and trying to pass some of my lessons that I learned from my culture to him, and him passing some of his cultural lessons to me.
Is there anything he's passed along to you that really sticks out?
I think it's work ethics. I've been around people in my life, but nobody cannot tell me their work ethic in their life to be disciplined as I was when it comes playing the game of basketball. I can grow up to becoming a great, successful basketball player. This case was in practice 3 to 4 hours before everybody get there. And then stay again after practice and come every time there was a day off. And going to sleep when they say we're supposed to be sleeping. It was different.
Well, and he said, we traveled to China to tape an episode of In Depth with him, and he said you really taught him a lot about philanthropy. In what ways?
You know, yeah, I come from this culture, it's a little bit different from where I grew up, from my background to Africa. And I say, yeah, you come from a one-child policy society, but that no mean you cannot do for other people who have one child to try to help them also succeed. And he took that lesson very serious, and he went back to his country, made it different to his people, ended up embracing them, making sure that they understand that he's young man who he is today because of the support and the fame that he come from all of those people who continue to love him. Otherwise, you can walk on the street where nobody clap for you. So I made the Armenian understand that concept. Because so many athletes, as I'm doing this interview today, until today, they still don't understand why we are who we are. You know, no, if it was not because of those people who watching our game, loving our game, buying the merchandise, or carrying our name, or our jersey number, or turning the TV when we are playing, I would have not become Dikembe Mutombo. And nobody would have write about me either. So I feel as an athlete, we have some obligation and some duty to our society.
So it was 6 years that you kept Michael Jordan from dunking on you. Then what did you say to him at the '97 All-Star game?
I just told him that it will take him forever for him to get one dunk. And
It was kind of a mistake, wasn't it?
and he felt challenged and he felt embarrassed. And Michael is a great guy with a funny character. As we were in New York, we were being introduced at the All-Star game, and I think I was the last player before him to be introduced. And when they say, from the Atlanta Hawks, Dikembe Mutombo, and Michael behind me, and he pulled my sweater down, my sweatsuit down. Then next thing I knew, I was trying to run in the middle of the locker, middle of the court. My pants was down. I had to lift my pants up, try to put my pants back on. And the following year later, he got one dunk. He was very happy about it.
Well, he got a big dunk on you,
No,
didn't
he
he?
didn't dunk on me. I never look at that dunk really being dunk on. Because being dunk on is someone coming ahead of you, looking at your eye, and climb over you and pop one dunk on it. But Michael really didn't do it. I was looking at this way. I was checking my man. Next time I turned, Michael have gone, he have got the ball, and I was 1 second away, and I tried to go in and save myself. That time I got dunked. And I've asked Mike, why don't you take off from wherever you're taking off and dunk on me, and we're coming my way. That's what you call dunking. But when somebody just sneak one behind you, you might give him a credit, but it's not going to be an A plus, it might be a B.
So it was a B dunk that
It was a B dunk.
Okay.
It's not like a Vince Carter dunk or Sean Kemp dunk, or some of the great like Michael Fanley, some of those guys who have gone very high and pop one on you. You say, okay, I try it, but that guy did dunk on me.
And don't you have, oh wait, and then after he dunks on you, doesn't he use your signature?
Yes, and he got fined for doing that because he was trying
He
to
got a
steal.
technical.
Yes, he was trying to steal my signature, which was wrong.
Is it true that you have a poster in your basement of you blocking one of his shots?
I have 2 of them.
You have 2 of them?
Yes, to remind everybody when they come in my house, because everybody always trying to talk, oh, you've been dunked on. To remind them, listen, even the guy who said that he dunked on me once of his career, look, I did get him here. I got him before he got me, so it's a reminder, and I also remind my kids.
The finger. How did it come about? I'm sure this is the first time you've ever been asked.
I used to block the shot, then I would shake my head, and after a while I felt like guys was not getting it. You know, they knew I got them, but
What do you mean they weren't getting it?
you know, it was like maybe I was just celebrating it because I blocked the shot. And I felt like I need to come up with something. Maybe a fingerwear thing that do not bring that things out here no more in the proper English. And then they would get it.
Did other players legitimately get upset when you would do that?
A lot of coaches,
Why?
owners, because the fact that there was an ambassador, especially Rick Pitino. I remember Rick Pitino when he was in Boston. He used to call the league office every time I play against Boston because they didn't have a big man that can challenge me there on the block. Every time they signed everybody else, I used to swap them up.
Wait, how did you know he would call the league office?
Because I used to get all the complaint for the NBA every day.
And what would they say? Rick Pitino called?
They would fine me. And I used to get fined $1,000 for waving my hand.
Well,
I pay a lot of money, man. This fingerwear, it cost me a lot of money to keep doing that.
Well, it also made you a lot of money.
It made me a lot of money. It went both ways.
Right. But eventually, when you first started doing it, it was fair game. It was legal, but
Yes.
eventually it was
Then there was a lot of
banned
complaint. The
right.
players would complain to the ref. The
Right.
ref would come to me before the game and say, do you know we talked to the league, you cannot do that, you cannot do that. And then I go and do it, get a technical foul. Then the ref would come to me and say, you know what, Dikembe, we don't want to kick you out of the game, but can you just face the fans while you're doing it? Then I realized that if I block the shot and the ball is still up there, I cannot look at the way on the fan and wave my finger then trying to keep my eye on the ball. So I realized that it really didn't bother me if I get another technical foul. And
Well, right. I mean, you get a technical foul, you get fined, and the then NBA Commissioner David Stern even called you and asked you to stop doing it. Yet you
Yes.
still continue doing it.
And I did continue, but when I got a call from the commissioner, I think the compliance we have gone to another level.
Okay.
That I felt that I didn't have no other choice that start cooperating with what the commissioner said, and I start looking at the fans, or wait until the play is already dead and the ball is going to do a different way. Then I would look at the fans and say, okay, I got them. But it was fun. I had so much fun doing it.
How was shooting the Geico commercial?
I think it was one of the best commercial. And I was like, what is they got me doing, man? They just want me to keep slapping things and walking around, running. But it took a little bit longer. It was almost 11 hours shooting it.
11 hours.
Yes.
What was involved with shooting it?
Because we did it in 3 different sites. In Los Angeles, they have to move all the trucks. And then they have to set up, then we have to shoot. Then, you know, when you set up, it can be 3-4 hours for you to be in one set.
And I understand they did not initially have shoes your size, and Susan, the head of your foundation, had to
send the
overnight a
shoe.
pair?
Yes, because I didn't know. I thought maybe I just go and wear my suits and do the commercial. I get there, found out I walk in the locker room, they have all these clothes set up for me. Then they say, where's your shoes? I said, my shoes? I said, no. I said, we're shooting a Geico commercial. What do you mean this? He said, no, we're going to have you running around. And I said, oh, no. Then we wait. I have to call the office and then people have to go to my house to get the shoes. It was fun. But that commercial turned my career, gave me another breathe, another life.
It did. Why do you think that was?
It made even the young people who was born yesterday, who didn't know Dikembe Mutombo, to know who I am today. to know who is Dikembe Mutombo, who is that guy running around knocking stuff around, knocking the stereo for a stereo from a young boy at a grocery store. It was good.
How quickly did you notice that commercial really resonating with people?
Because it projects me, it doesn't project nobody else.
Right.
It projects Dikembe Mutombo, the one everyone knew, a nice guy, funny guy, a great basketball player, a great shot blocker. So all of that, and they also have the foundation raise a lot of money. Because every time I walk in anybody's office, everybody knew who I was. And they say, are you the guy? Oh yeah, you the guy also who built the hospital in Africa? Oh yeah, so it made people search more Dikembe Mutombo and read a lot about my philanthropic work. With thanks, Garko.
Tell a little bit about your role as NBA's global ambassador.
2009 when I retired, the NBA commissioner created a position in the NBA of the global ambassador to bring me in to becoming part of the NBA family, which was the duty was to work with the NBA care to becoming part of the NBA social responsibility and to speak on behalf of the NBA globally and to interact with our friends worldwide and to represent the commission in different places. It's really a nice job. It comes with a lot of traveling. The schedule come and go, but it's very fun, and I love for the fact that I was given that chance to carry that much weight to represent the NBA and the commissioner globally.
What's the biggest challenge of the job?
Oh, sometimes when they ask you to go to South Africa, yes, you got prepared for that 16 hours flight.
And there are
they call you, they say, can you come to New York tomorrow morning? Because we need you to be here, we need you to be there. Or can you go to Los Angeles tomorrow or tomorrow after? So some of the surprises, the schedule that you don't have in the plane, but it's fun, I love it because I get a chance to spend more time with my kids now than I did it before.
So, admittedly, I told friends and family I'm coming to the Congo to sit down with you for this interview and spend a few days here, and I get the same look from everybody, which is like, are you crazy?
You going to Congo?
Right, because their minds immediately, and I think understandably, go to the conflict. How fair do you think the perception is internationally of the Congo?
It's very bad, it's very sad. I thank you for asking that question. Those are the things that still bother me, I understand the concern because some of us have lived it. More than 5.3 million Congolese people have lost their lives during a civil war, which was happening mostly in the east of Congo. But coming to this beautiful capital city, very vibrant, with wonderful people here, lives have changed, Things have happened, we understand, but we cannot keep looking on the past without looking at the future. And we should come, we as a people of God, find a way, how can we help them now? Instead of saying that, okay, there was so much killing happening in your homeland, I will not come there, I will never come there. Too many people was killed in Vietnam and Cambodia. Today people go back there. So we can look at the history, but we have to look at the present and the future. See how can we help these people. They are lovely people.
But it is still, there is still violence going on in the eastern part of the Congo?
No more. They still allow UN military presence around the country. But violence-wise, no more violence. I can't remember last time there was a violence again in the Congo. I thanks the United States, U.S. government, I thanks the European Union. We thank South Africa and Tanzania for sending more special forces here in the Congo to protect people in the east, which have made so many bad guys to run away. So it's been very peaceful to know that not many women are not dying no more. The thing we are dealing with now in Congo is a post-conflict. We have so many street children. We have lost their parents in the civil war. We have so many child soldiers, people who was forced to take arms at a younger age, and they have returned to the society where the society have rejected them. So what we as a people going to do about it? We have to come up with a solution and come up with a solution. How can we save some of those children and help some of those in need? It's very tough. I think it's a long process. It will take a while to see the impact, but I'm happy that I am part of the solution. I'm not the solution of those problems facing the Congolese society, but I'm contributing my part.
You mentioned the more than 5 million people that lost their lives.
Yes.
During
the 10 years of Civil War.
During the Civil War, as some have said, it's been the deadliest conflict since World War II.
More than more people have died in both wars, World War I and World War II combined.
How would you explain what the problem was?
Oh, the problem is very easy. I think it was a mistake made in the past when Congo opened its border to all of the refugees that came from civil war that was happening in Rwanda. And Congo thought maybe it was giving a land, a safe haven to some of the people. And when they opened the floodgate of the people who came, weapons and everything who came and start killing most of the women and children.
So the people that were responsible for the genocide in Rwanda came over here?
Then whatever they was fighting, they brought the fight here. And the fight ended up carrying on to the entire country.
Had the borders not been opened, how do you think it would have ended up differently?
I think that they should have monitored the flood of refugees. And they couldn't monitor. And the UN didn't do nothing. International community didn't do nothing. I think that's where we are. And that are some of us, that are my children today, didn't get a chance to see their grandmother.
It still upsets you a lot to this day.
Yes, because I know the people who are responsible. I still know I don't like to talk about it much.
You look at a nation like the Congo, which is the largest, country in sub-Saharan Africa. It's one of the richest in Africa because of the trillions in natural resources. You have gold, diamond, copper, cobalt, etc. Yet it's one of the poorest nations in the world. How do you think you change that?
Until we can switch the volume from the other side, let's stop looking at the West for helping us, our society will be becoming much better. Until we stop killing our women and raping our sister and mother and cousin and uncle, our society will be better. If we cannot do that, we will continue to live miserable for a long time. And ways that notion of violence is coming from that way, most of the people from my generation are still asking. Because I grew up here. I grew up in the capital city, not far away from the hospital. There was never a notion that I'm going to get a gun, I'm just going to come kill everybody in the neighborhood. It never happened. Nobody never done it. So when you hear story of people killing thousands, do you wonder, how did it happen? You know, you see the situation where Kony continue to recruit young soldiers in the border of Congo and Uganda and Southern Sudan, keep ravaging and killing all the villagers and recruiting young boys again, keep going with them and cutting all those women, the arms and the chest. And you see, what is going on in the mind of human being? You know, we are God precious children, and why are we doing that to the others? And sometimes you sit down as a Christian and you wonder, you ask yourself all these questions, you say, I'm trying to save life from disease, but who is there is behind the back of the houses holding gun and shooting everybody? So you just praying God that God can reveal some vision to that person, the person will change his mind. It's very sad. It's very sad. You know, I love this beautiful continent. I wish I have more men and can do more. Like I say, I'm visioning about building the school in the village where my parents came from, because I have concern about where I want to see the African children living one day.
Is enough attention paid to the issues in the Congo globally?
Right now it is. I'm so happy and so thankful that the whole body, you have come together and say, okay, this is enough people killed in Congo. We have to put all the resources as we can to stop all those fighting. That brings kind of joy to me right now.
You know, I'm preparing.
Because I witnessed so much death. I think it take me more to my mother time because I saw that. I saw how dangerous it was for my oldest brother to attend my brother's funeral, my mother's funeral, where my brother had to land in another country. He had to be bought by boat, get sneak in the country for him to get to the funeral. See, you see all of those stuff. You say it's not normal. These people have to live like that. Why we cannot just be like we are? We are this week and enjoying life, commute in the city and not worrying about nothing. That's life.
You know, in preparing for this interview, I read a lot of stories about the Congo, and in a recent one, there was a senior UN official that said, you know, he just does not see any solution in terms of how to improve it. So, you know, I ask you, what do you think the solution is?
I think the solution for Congo to develop, we as the Congolese have to love each other more. During this civil unrest for 10 years, there's been a little bit of tension among people, the way they see themselves. And I don't think it's an ethnic conflict, but there's a little bit of tension you have rise between the ethnic in the Congo. People don't, so many people, they don't see themselves like they used to be, like proud to be Congolese. They want to identify more about the ethnicity, and they will talk about the country a second.
Why do you think that is?
Because they think if I go to Dikembe, I tell him that I'm Luba, because Dikembe from the Luba tribe, Dikembe will understand my problem much quicker than understanding the problem of somebody from the Mongo tribe or from Congo tribe or something. And every time they do that, in front of me, I go like, excuse me, why are we going there? Why you cannot tell me that I'm your brother from Congo as well? Can we have a conversation? So year to start correcting people. People went to a 10-year civil war where they had to defend their own area during the fighting. And I think even though the war is over, I think the tension is not completely over. I might agree in some degrees of the man from the UN, the way he's saying. If that's where the direction is looking, I would say yes.
Really?
There's still, but I think the government is doing well to push the national dialogue, so there cannot be tension in my people.
I really appreciate you sharing so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate it. Thanks for having me.